Så skal jeg lese en historie på engelsk. Den heter Shaving the World, i hvert fall som jobbtittel. Men jeg selvfølgelig kan skiftes etter hvert, for dette er en kladd. Jeg håper dere forstår engelsk godt nok til å følge med på historien. Jeg kommer ikke til å snakke det på norsk. Det er veldig vanskelig å oversette mellom språk. Jeg prøvde å oversette mine egne norske bøker til engelsk. Det klarte jeg ikke. Så det eneste jeg kunne var å prøve å skrive engelsk fra bunnen av. For det er så forskjellig at det tar så mye tid å oversette for å få med nyansen i et språk. Det er ikke som å oversette et offisielt dokument eller noe. Du må liksom forstå hva det betyr. She's hiding something. The animal drummed his stick. Merely drops hit the low-quality building with irritation and eager. The air was sticky, humid, and always a sad chill. It was always like this, shitty, gritty, and unbearable. Still, somehow, I endured. One day at a time, it was my home, at last for now. It wasn't the contents of the message that disturbed me. I was suffering uncontrollable shakes that could be excused by the cold weather. It was the fact that I had perceived the message at this moment. You are refusing to admit the truth. She tried to provoke me. Don't make it all look bleak. We both have rather good occupations. Get by and survive, I countered. I didn't deserve for her to win this argument. She lifted her left hand and formed a quote. The problem was always been that you are weak. You don't want to see the reality. You hide yourself conveniently in a private pool of fear. She knew how to upset me, she always did. We were psychics, more often referred to as freaks. People born with certain psychic or loose-related skill. We had no power to choose the skills ourselves. It just dawned on us, somewhere between the age of 3 and 7. In most cases, the skills were useless, but sometimes they had value. We both worked as specially hired consultants, a nice word for fortnight contracting for the police. I wanted the discussion to go in a different direction. You are wrong. This world is not like in the movies. How many times have we seen the inspector or detective who tries to think like the psychopath to catch him? It's stupid to think that you actually can get under the skin and understand the psychopath without being one yourself. We know better. The police hire psychics like us because they are not able to find the clues themselves. By doing so, we make the difference. She wouldn't let me stop her. Do we? Really? Any advantage we give the police, the criminals can counter. What makes you think there are no freaks supporting the other side? You flip a coin, both sides are eventually the same. We don't make the difference, we just fill up the role of expendables in an arms race. I could see her biting her lips. Somehow the humidity always caused her skin to crawl, to dry, especially her lips. It felt like an old conversation, a rerun like all of our conversations. We used to date, far back in the grey mass of memory. Back then I did not know how to control my ability. Even though I don't regret it anymore, it was the ruin of us. I knew very well what she was hiding, nothing new. But I did not understand why I wasn't able to suppress my ability on her. It baffled me. Was I starting to turn old, sour and incapable? I wanted to win our conversation, even though I never would give any pleasure. Elise, you have to believe in the world. Psychics are usually more developed people, and therefore we have higher standards, which in turn leads to a more righteous kind. We choose to be the good side of things. Take this new case I'm working on. The serial killer cuts his victim in total rage. The result is an odd number of body parts shattered in every direction. I have never in my life witnessed anything as disgusting. No psychic will ever be capable of such manslaughter. On the contrary, we will be the pivotal piece in catching the guy. Elise's ability was that she could store all the information in her brain and somehow put two and two, or even thousand pieces together and discover the context and the inconsistencies. She was invaluable in cross-examinations, in scrutinizing case material. Most of her time was spent either auditing cases or reading up on the events that turned this world around. No wonder she had a quirk for losing the faith in the wonders of the world. I reached into my pockets and searched around. I handed her a lip balm with fresh flower scent, the same one I always handed her. She would always forget them and was as happy as always to borrow mine. I left her busy with it, almost as a rehearsed play. Home was pretty much a miserable replica of outside. I fell flat down on the couch to relax. In the summers, Trias was nothing, just desolate sand, resembling a hostile desert. People lived elsewhere, where life was good, maybe even on the edge to romantic. In the winter, the climate changed drastically to such degree that even if this location was dreadful, it was the lesser evil, close to 1,000 kilometers. Trias was a temporary city, built up in a short 2 weeks consisting of whatever material could be gathered. In its peak, it could house up to 55 million people. It was the pinnacle of an organic city engineering. You wouldn't even be able to spot the end of it. It was Mecca for all sorts of businesses, including speculative crime, and the gods kept hauling raindrops at my feeble relief. It was not a real home. I always wanted to be someone important. A person leaving a dent on the world. A teacher of young kids to inspire them to become better citizens. Once declared a psychic, you could never become anything too important. Normal people were afraid of us, put all kinds of measure in, obstacles out to stop us from taking over. Once more the unspeakable has happened. If it ever could be called silliness, the phone broke it. He has done it again. I need you to get here at once. Justin was my handler, my primary police contact, and the officer in charge to find our perpetrator. I jumped into position. It was time to get down to it. Justin was my favorite handler. We developed some kind of mutual respect, and he provided me with advantages over most contracted psychics, who often were left over to handlers who would be treating them with various degrees of humiliation. Less than half an hour later, I met Justin. We appeared just like two lost souls, swimming in the mud and rain. I handed him a scorching cup of coffee, the disposable kind, which would struggle to maintain its structure for the same amount of time it took to finish it. I found it strange that the liquid on the outside should be such a destructive force in comparison with the dark liquid inside. The white is svartkopp. Justin reeled off facts. The situation in his usual fact manner. Oh, how I loved this. The thrill, the unmistakable stench of being close. Putting the pieces together to get the solution. A positive and exciting feeling possessed me. Today, Trias will become a better place. The smell of not so fresh coffee beans hitting our nostrils provided life in this dump a short moment of euphoria. I didn't even get time to have a look at the gruesome scene. The display of something that was once human, disgraced, mortified, cut to 1,000 pieces and spread around in the perfect chaos. The murderer is near. Immediately I stopped paying attention to Justin and started to scan the area. He didn't pay notice and was still talking to me when I was examining the outskirts of the crime scene. I swept the periphery for clues but was luckier. I noticed a silhouette a couple of blocks below. As soon as I spotted it, I started to run. I broke all protocols. Chasing is not something a psychic is supposed to do. That's to be left to professionals, the real police. Following the person in front of me was a stupid thing to do. My help was made for dozing in sofas, drinking beer and watching crap TV, not this high-performance stuff. Luckily, the murder could not have been much better off. As I huffed and puffed my way forward, the distance was closing up. In my favor. Strange, no one would believe that a dangerous criminal would be at better shape. The drums of the animal were now inside my heart, thundering at my flesh. Suddenly, the shadow in front of me was gone. Bugger, I'd screwed it up. Broken procedure. Try to be the hero. The price would certainly be my job. A psychic without an occupation was like an anchor without an ocean, usually failing the society. Pushing myself to the corner, I found the guilty person again, climbing up the wall to the left of me. On the limb, there was not much choice other than to follow. My hands were cold, stale, and didn't want to grip the surface. Yes, I forced myself to continue. It was no longer a matter of making a difference. It was a matter of saving my own bun. The hunter entered the building through an open window. 2 stories above me. It comforted me, as I knew even pathetic indoor environment would be a welcome change. When I finally got to the same window and jumped in, I was not prepared for either of the surprises. The dull thud on the right side of my head suggested a blunt implement. Not enough to put me out of my misery, but enough to hurt. Somehow that would have been better than being face to face with Elise. What cruelty it is to stand in front of a person who is capable of performing such evil deed, and know that once you love that person. I couldn't utter a word, but didn't have to. You see, we will never make a difference if we don't stand up for ourselves. We need to treat us, the psychics, as the superior race and defies the normal human. Today we let them treat us as shit and dictate our miserable lives. And we let them. It's time to make a stand. Make a change. Let them burn. I couldn't believe my ears. It was above crazy. No. We cannot become monsters, commit the evil just because we're not treated right. We need to be better than that, to be a better part of the human race. We need to display maturity, justice, dignity and honor. The words did not sound like me. I never usually either thought or said such eloquent words. What was happening to me? The dim light of the small room we were stuck in flickered from the outside window. The sound of the traffic and thousands of people on their way from their own busy bubbles, but nothing of outside influences could affect us now. We were lost in our own island, with ocean separating us from the real world. You are wrong. If we stand still and don't fight for our rights, we will forever be the suppressed race. What I do might be radical, but we need to be radical. We need to join forces together and claim what is our right. By killing the innocent? How can any person be participating in organized racism be innocent? Do you think Justin is different just because he treats you well? Well, a slave driver is still a slave driver, even if he handles the slaves with respect. Is it true that some of us manage to secure positions where existence is bearable? Yes, we survive. But are we happy? Do we even come close to our dreams? What about all the other freaks, those who doesn't pull the lucky straw in life? They have nothing. They are living the life on the streets, in the gutter. They are not even freaks. They are bums. What's happened to you when you are no longer able to perform your job? You will take ranks among the nameless out in the dark. All of our elaborating made more and more sense, too much sense. I still try to counter-argue. There are efforts to help the ones lost on the wagon. She wouldn't let me finish. Yes, pitiful efforts that provide a few of us with a free and pathetical meal or a used rag every now and then. You call that help? It is a part of what keeps us down. No, my friend. We need to claim the power. Join me. Let's create an organized stand for our rights. Let's save the world. Believe me, I wanted to let go of reality, join her. Maybe we could melt together again. Perhaps we could be the difference through her plan. We embraced each other, not only with ace and arms, but kissing, desperate, lost out, hidden from the dark world around us, like we had rediscovered our absent passion. Unfortunately, we all know that it's utter madness to believe that a single person can save the world. She loves you. With tears running, dripping down, I dipped into my pockets, no lip balm this time, with a small and cold steel knife, still embraced. She could not detect what I was doing. Carefully yet firmly, I sliced her neck to her own death. My memories have vanished. Justin told me that I was still crying when he found me. He protects my deeds with lies. We have to be content with changing ourselves, living our lives in a way that matters. Make the difference. We had to rid the world of madness, cruelty and evil. I knew, though, that my time as a cry fighter was over. Even though Justin would keep me, I could not keep myself. Too many years had let life rule me. It was time for a change. Even though I would be done in small steps, it would be the right steps. She loved you.